Hello, welcome to the workshop. I got my wife's bike all ready to go. Unfortunately, outside it's getting dark, but it's also starting to freeze and rain, and we still got a bunch of snow on the ground, so I can't really take it anywhere. So what I did is I rigged up for my chain fall. I got this chain going up and it's kind of suspending the back end, so the back tire is off the ground. See how she works. Um, I just finished up rigging up the box. Let me show you what I got back here. Um, Instead of using the round connectors, I put this like a household plug, and this is one that has the larger connector on a larger spade on one side than the other, so I can't hook it up backwards. Because you definitely wouldn't want to switch the positive, negative, negative to positive. That would be a bad thing. And along with the plug itself, you can see how the one of the spade's bigger than the other, so it can only go together one way. You gotta be careful because some plugs, like this one for example, for the charger, they're both the same. So obviously you wouldn't want to do that. If I had to do it again, I would probably just get another round connector here, like came with it. And I went around and looked for these. I couldn't find them. Went to Lowe's and Harbor Freight, and I don't know. I should have looked around a little bit more, but couldn't find it. So I rigged it. So anyways, we're going to hook this together. And the other thing we have hooked up right now is this blue wire, which is the 20-mile-per-hour limiter wire. So we're going to check that, see how it works first with the 20-mile-an-hour wire connected. Then we'll disconnect it and see how fast this thing will go. Let me take a break and I'll hook up the battery. Okay, so I got the battery connected. Another thing is, if you happen to do it this way, which I wouldn't recommend, just get another round connector. Make sure that the female side is going towards the battery. And if you use the round connector, make sure the red wire has the female end on it, so it's covered. Because if it shorts out on something, then it would be bad. Especially if you had the spade connector hooked up backwards, you shorted those together. Yeah, that short out the battery. So you definitely want to avoid that. But everything here is set to go. All right, to turn this thing on, it's pretty straightforward. You have this little controller over here. You just press the M. Just press the M. Gotta hold it down a little bit, I guess. And that turns it on. And she's ready to go. Now this has the 20-mile-an-hour limiter. And the pedal adjust here, you can adjust with these up and down arrows. But that's just for the pedal assist. I tried it out earlier, and it actually doesn't change the speed with the throttle application. It's the same. So anyways, I have a throttle over here. Let's give it some gas. And 33 kilometers is just a tad over 20 miles per hour, so it does look like it's working pretty good. That's what it's supposed to do. Okay. Something else that I checked out is my brake levers here have a disconnect. When you pull that in, it gives an error 2. So if I'm running the bike and I hit the brakes, see this is error 2, it actually turns off the motor. And I did try it with the front brake as well. See, this is error 2. I'm running out of hands here. Just a second. Okay, got error 2, give it some gas, nothing happens. You'll have to take my word for it. But anyways, on the error 2, even with the front brake applied, if you give it some throttle, it doesn't do anything. The motor's turned off effectively. So that's what it's supposed to do. Let's see. So let's disconnect this blue wire here. Just a second. Okay, so I disconnected the blue wire, and that basically puts it in ludicrous mode. It's like this thing really rips. Hopefully it doesn't come off the chain because this thing will take off. Yeah, about 71 kilometers per hour. That's twice as fast as what it was doing with that blue wire connected up. That's around 40 miles an hour. So this thing really will go fast. And the way electric motors work, I mean, they put out a tremendous amount of torque. So I think we got ourselves a kind of a fast bike. I'm going to leave this blue wire connected up for my wife till she gets used to things, you know. I think 20 miles an hour is plenty fast for this thing. But for, I would say, you know, 350 bucks for this whole setup is pretty decent. There are a couple extra things that I did buy besides the battery and the motor. Over on this side, I have this piece. I think this was 17 bucks. I got two of these. But that holds the axle in place. The axle has like a flat-sided spot, so this could fit over that flange very well, and this holds it in place. There was a couple washers that had tabs on it that fit in to the flat side of where the axle goes through. That was supposed to keep the axle from spinning, but I think this is probably worth it just to make sure that it doesn't spin. Probably a little bit overkill, but that's okay. I also had to buy these shift levers because on the old bike, the shift levers were part of the brake lever. And of course, like I saw, the brake levers have these shutoffs there. So that's good. We want to make sure that my wife can stop her. You know, so it'll stop her pretty good. The brakes are working and it shuts off the motor when you apply the brakes. The only other thing I bought was this box here from Harbor Freight for 14 bucks. I would probably get a different box because this thing I thought was aluminum, but you look in there, it's just like particle board, which is really kind of cheap. So we'll see if it holds together or not. If it doesn't, I noticed they had another plastic toolbox, a small one. It was a little taller, a little narrower, but I'm sure all that stuff would fit in there. And so I think that would work out quite well. So you can see this is a Voilamart 1,000-watt motor that I have on this thing with a 48-volt battery that charges, runs it, and that's like a 20 amp hour battery, so it's pretty good sized battery. Should last a long time. The whole thing, I didn't calculate it out exactly, but it's probably about $350, $370 for everything. To have an electric bike with that much power, they'll do like 40 miles an hour. Yeah, that's kind of worth it. But I think I'm going to hook up that blue wire for my wife and make sure she don't go so fast. My goodness gracious, this thing will really go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and signing off from the workshop. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.